Hello, welcome to FightCore USA.
On Saturday, a massive underdog is going to get her one shot at the strawweight title. A girl who less than a year ago was competing on Dana White's Contender Series, and now she has to now be competing for a world championship. So, in today's episode of Canvas Critique, we're going to break down why John Wiley beats Joanna Jędrzejczyk to very well be the biggest upset in women's MMA history. First, let me start by saying how excited I am for this rematch. I thought their first fight was an instant classic, back and forth action the entire time. They don't know each other's styles. They've never competed against anyone similar to them before. So there's a lot of things that make this rematch so intriguing. But the reason why I believe this may be the biggest upset in women's MMA history is because if Joanna were to win this, it would be the biggest upset since Ronda Rousey lost to Harley Holm back in November of 2015. Let's talk about why I believe this is the biggest underdog story in women SMA. And also stick around till the end where I'll tell you why I think Joanna wins this fight. First, we need to address the elephant in the room. Yes, Joanna has been struggling recently. She's lost 3 out of her last 4 fights. And the only fight that she won was a split decision against Marina Rodriguez, a fighter that many people have a tough time even ranking inside the top 15. But the 2 girls that Joanna lost to, Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade, they both are current or former champions in the division. And I think that's a pretty solid excuse for Joanna losing these fights. No one else in the UFC can say that they've lost to 2 former strawweight champions. In fact, Rose Namajunas is the only girl in the division who can say that. But here's where things get really interesting. Those 2 fights that Joanna lost against Rose and Jessica were revenge fights. Both of these girls had previously beaten Joanna earlier in her career, and Joanna got her chance to avenge those losses. And what happened? She lost both of them. Now, fun fact, the girl that originally beat Joanna, Jessica, actually went on to lose 3 in a row after beating Joanna. So, Jessica, after beating Joanna, she lost to Rose Namajunas. She lost to Rose again. And then she lost to Cynthia. So, Joanna losing to Jessica and then losing to Rose. I don't see that as a big deal. But what makes this underdog story so great is the fact that after losing to Jessica, the strawweight division was reset. Jessica was moved up to flyweight. Rose Namajunas was stripped of the title due to inactivity. And then Joanna was given another opportunity to compete for the title. However, Joanna was not given the title shot immediately. Instead, she was booked against the #1 contender, Marina Rodriguez. And Joanna did what she needed to do, and she defeated Marina by split decision. That victory over Marina was not easy. It was a very close fight that could have gone either way. And honestly, I think Joanna was very fortunate to get the win. But that doesn't take away from how incredible this story is. After defeating Marina, Joanna was immediately given the title shot against John Wiley, the same girl that defeated Marina inside 1 round. So, after Joanna defeated Marina in a split decision, John Wiley defeats Marina inside 1 round. Then Joanna is given the next title shot. So, in the eyes of the UFC, Joanna is a more deserving contender than the girl who just defeated her in a split decision. And if that's not an underdog story, I don't know what is. No! Before I go any further? Let me quickly explain why I believe Joanna deserves to be the #1 contender and why she's the underdog in this fight. First, Joanna has fought multiple top contenders in the division. And she is the only girl in the strawweight division that can say that she has fought multiple former champions in the same division. Zhang Weili has only competed against one former champion in the division. And her name is Rose Namajunas. So based on the resume alone, Joanna is clearly the better contender. But the reason why she is the underdog in this fight is simply because Zhang Weili is the champion. Even though Joanna has a better resume, the champion always has the advantage when it comes to the judges' scorecards. So Zhang Weili could easily win this fight by decision. But if Zhang Weili wants to win this fight, she cannot afford to overlook Joanna for even 1 second. Joanna is the most dangerous strawweight that China have ever seen. So if Zhang Weili takes this fight lightly and she believes that her striking is superior, she's gonna have a long night. Joanna has knockout power. We saw her knock out Jessica Penne, and we saw her almost knock out Rose Namajunas in their first fight. If Joanna's chin holds up and she's able to get inside and land those big shots, Zhang Weili could be in trouble. And with all the trash talking that Zhang Weili has been doing leading up to this fight, I think Joanna is even more motivated to come into this fight and prove everyone wrong. Zhang Weili is guaranteeing that she has gone knock out Joanna, and she is saying that Joanna is slow and that she has washed up. So Joanna is definitely using all that extra motivation to prepare for this fight. The biggest thing that I am looking forward to in this fight is seeing how Joanna's gas tank holds up. You know, Joanna has always had problems with her gas tank. She starts out really strong in the first round, but as the fight goes later into the decision, she seems to run out of gas. And the other girls in the division used that against her. So in her last fight against Rose, Rose was able to grapple Joanna and wear her down with her wrestling. So in this fight, I'm curious to see if Joanna has fixed that issue with her conditioning. If she does, I think she's gonna come in here and steal the show. Another thing that's going to play a big role in this fight is the crowd. This fight is taking place in China, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of Chinese fans in attendance. So I'm sure that Zhang Weili's gonna have a big advantage in front of the hometown crowd. But I think that might work against that. You see, when you're fighting in your home country, you feel like you have all this support behind you and you feel like you're invincible. And then sometimes when you're fighting in front of your home crowd, you put so much pressure on yourself to perform. You put so much pressure on yourself to meet the expectations of the fans that it actually hurts your performance. So I'm hoping that happens. To Zhang Weili, I am hoping that she feels the pressure of performing in front of the home crowd and that leads to her making mistakes. So, at the end of the day, the reason why I think this is the biggest underdog story in women SMMA history is because Zhang Weili is an undefeated champion. She's only lost one fight in her professional career, and that loss came against Rose Namajunas in an untitled fight. So Zhang Weili is basically a undefeated champion and Joanna is a massive underdog. If Joanna wins this fight, it will be the biggest upset since Ronda Rousey lost to Holly Holm. And if the fight plays out exactly how I think it's gonna go, this could be the fight of the year. So my prediction for this fight is that it goes 5 rounds and it's a close fight with back and forth the entire time. But in the end, Joanna pulls off the upset.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.